Hey Anil, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you both too. Thanks for having me.
Last time we covered your overall background and your certifications. Today we'd like to dig a bit deeper into your coaching philosophy and particular experience.
Let's start with your competitive swimming background. Could you tell us how your experience in swimming has influenced the way you coach today?
Sure. I competed at the provisional level in Zhejiang for about 5 years, mainly in 200-meter breaststroke. I picked up a few medals along the way, 2 silver and 5 bronze, which I am proud of. That competitive background really shaped my coaching style. I place a lot of focus on both physical and mental preparation, especially race strategy, pacing, and visualization techniques. Since I've experienced that high pressure environment myself, I know how to help swimmers manage their nerves and stay composed before a big race.
That's a solid foundation. What about your approach training different types of swimmer? Can you walk us through a program you have designed?
Absolutely. With beginners, I focus on comfort in the water, floating, breathing, and basic strokes. I set small, clear goals to help them build confidence. For competitive swimmers, I work with structured periodization, breaking training into endurance, technique, and speed phases. I use dry-land training, underwater video analysis, and individual feedback. I believe no two swimmers are the same, so I create customized programs based on their strengths and goals. For example, a sprinter would focus on starts and explosive turns, while a distance swimmer would train for stroke consistency and aerobic endurance.
That tailored approach is very much in line with our mission and value. Now let's say you are mid season and one of your swimmers gets a leg cramp in deep water. How would you handle that?
First, I stay calm and assess if the swimmer can stay afloat. If not, I'd approach safely, avoiding panic grabs and offer a flotation device if possible. I'd guide them to safety while keeping them relaxed. Once they're secure, I'd help them stretch the cramp muscles and if necessary, move them to the pool side. Afterward, I'd check whether they need medical help and look into what caused the cramp, maybe dehydration or overtraining, and adjust their program accordingly.
Great, thank you, Anirudh. That's all from our side. We will follow up soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey Yizhi, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. Last time we were really impressed with your coaching experience and your energy during your trial class. We have heard quite positive feedback from students.
Yes, and we had a few follow-up questions to better understand your coaching mindset. Let's drop in. Can you tell us about a time you helped a swimmer overcome a technical challenge?
Sure. I had a student who really struggled with freestyle swimming. He couldn't time his breath properly and would lift his head too high and then throw off his balance and become fatigued. I explained the idea of body balance by referring to Newton's third law. For every action force, there has to be a reaction force. I also used the analogy of a seesaw. When you lift your head up, something else must go down, which is why your body sinks naturally during your breathing. Then I break the breathing into steps, like land drills, body rotation with buoy, and then breathing with a kickboard. I also used underwater video analysis so he could see his mistakes. With consistent correction and encouragement, he eventually developed a smooth breathing pattern.
That's a great example. Now, do you agree that a great swimmer is not always a great coach?
Yes, I totally agree. Coaching is more about teaching and mentoring than just swimming ability. I've seen a lot of gifted athletes. They're able to perform the stroke so beautifully and naturally that it feels like they're born to swim. but unfortunately, they don't know how to teach people. I remember learning my freestyle when I was 7. My coach was an Olympic silver medalist. His stroke was flawless, but he couldn't explain anything to me. When I made mistakes, he would just simply say, "You're doing it wrong, do it again," but never told me why and how to fix it. It was really frustrating, and honestly, I think that's why I hated freestyle so long. And that experience actually inspired me to become a good coach. And it also shaped my coaching philosophy today, which is break things down and explains things clearly. Try to connect with your swimmers, gives them useful feedback, and supports them emotionally. So, I would say being a good swimmer does not automatically make you a good coach.
That's very thoughtful. Let's talk about time management. How do you handle a busy schedule with competitions, training seasons, and swimmer development?
For me, it's all about planning ahead. I align training cycles with competition dates. When things get hectic, I adjust or delegate where needed. For example, sometimes I would let one of my students take the attendance for me and do the underwater filming. I always make sure both the swimmers and I aren't burned out. Staying organized, but flexibility is the key.
Last question. Suppose a swimmer is struggling with a new technique and starts getting discouraged. How would you help?
Let's say he's struggling with butterfly arm recovery. First, I would let him know that it's totally okay to feel frustrated. Like, personally, I've been through all these by myself. So I would say it's important to remind swimmers that struggling with a new technique is part of learning. Then I wouldn't just keep repeating the same drill. I would break down the technique. I would start with arm movements on land, adding shoulder mobility exercises using rubber band and dynamic stretches. Next, we'll do single arm butterfly in the pool and then use a pole buoy so they can focus on arms without worrying about the kick. Some swimmers really need to see it to learn. So if that's the case for me, for that swimmer, I would also use the underwater video analysis to show them what's happening and compare it with a proper technique. Finally, I would keep the tone positive, celebrating small wins. I feel like when swimmers feel supported, they're more likely to stick with it and make improvements.
Thank you, Yizhi. That wraps it up for today.
Thank you both. Appreciate the time.
So, what do you think?
Tough call. Andrew has that steady, experienced one. You can tell he's been in the game a long time, structured, methodical, knows how to run a team.
Yeah, and he's very composed. You feel like you could trust him to manage a team of competitive swimmers right away.
For sure, but I have to say, it just surprised me. He's young, but there's this natural empathy and flexibility in how he talks about coaching. He's very student-focused, and I think he connects more on an emotional level.
I noticed that too. He definitely from different generation, more intuitive, more open to adjusting. He measured based on how the swimmer feels, not just what the program says.
Exactly. There's a bit of generation gap between the two. Andrew brings the classic, traditional coaching approach, clear structure, no fluff. Yizhi, on the other hand, brings fresh energy and a more modern mindset.
And with the newer swimmer we have been seeing, especially young ones and beginners, I feel like the modern approach could really work.
Yeah, it is a reminder that coaching isn't just about technique anymore. It's also about emotional support and adapting to how athletes learn today.
Agreed. I think Yizhi may actually be the better fit for the current team culture. But we should definitely keep any road unmanned for future routes. Maybe something more senior or develop focused.
Absolutely. Let's move ahead with each and keep Aniro on our radar.
Then I will drop the follow-up emails.